I think most people can agree that The Finals is a pretty high quality game. If you like online shooters, you probably like a lot of what this game has to offer. But I bet there's a few things that you really hate about this game, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, before we get started, I quickly want to qualify myself to speak on this game. I put a lot of time into this game. I am the highest rank currently, Diamond. I completed all 108 tiers of the Battle Pass. I've played all the classes pretty extensively. I really enjoy this game. The core game I really, really like. But there are a few changes that this game could make that would make the experience so much better for so many people. And honestly, I think that some of the game design choices they made are a little bit bizarre. Like, I see why they did it, but it just doesn't seem like the experiment worked in some cases, and maybe they need to sort of tweak some things. But luckily, all of the things I'm suggesting are relatively easy. These aren't like, big game engineering problems. These are back end, numbers changes that could be made that would really, mix things up. So let's get started. Luckily for the finals, most of what they have is really damn good. The core gameplay is great. The sound design is great. The music is great. The gunplay, fantastic. The guns feel, look, sound perfect. It's really well done. The cosmetics in this game are probably the best of any game I've ever played. I never spend money in free-to-play games, but I've bought the battle passes the last two seasons. So I'm really liking a lot of what this game has to offer, and I think most people do. So why did everybody stop playing? Well, in my opinion, the core problem with the finals is the flagship game mode of Cash Out and Quick Cash. These game modes are bad. They're not fun long term. And here's the thing. I get where the developers were coming from with Cash Out. They are trying to foster an environment where you're always having these heart-pounding moments where anything can happen at any time and you can lose at any time and win at any time and you have these crazy comebacks. I totally get where they're coming from. But man, does that wear off pretty quick. And I think that's what we saw with the player base. I don't think people are quitting the finals because they're like, oh, the gunplay is bad or oh, the cosmetics are bad. No, it just got repetitive and honestly frustrating as hell. The Cash Out game mode is, I swear, just designed. It's a speed running. It's a speed run to see how fast you can punch a hole in the wall. I have never gotten so mad at a game than the finals. It's crazy how infuriating this game is. And before you say, oh, skill issue, dude, I'm Diamond. I've gotten my fair share of bullshit wins and my fair share of bullshit losses. And the thing is that the bullshit wins wear off pretty quick. The newness and the fun factor of getting that cheesy dome shield win wears off really quick. And eventually you just go, whatever, that was dumb. We shouldn't have won that. And when you lose, when you play the whole game fantastically and you wipe two teams and then you lose at the last second because the third team comes in and double dematerializes the Cash Out twice down two floors, then double dome shield, mesh shield, barricade, heal beam, fucking heavy stealing the Cash Out, and you just get fucked at the last second. It's dumb. It's so fucking dumb. And everybody gets so mad when they lose that way, and they should, because it's dumb. I will say that most of the corniness is coming from the heavy class, which is just a huge problem in this game. The heavy is just incredibly overpowered in the finals, especially in ranked. In the more casual modes, the heavy isn't as broken as it appears, but once you get into coordinated scenarios where everything is, CQC or is all about stealing a third-party cash out, man, the heavy is incredibly powerful. And the current meta right now, which is double heavy medium, is obnoxious to play against. It is terrible. It's just terrible. I hit Diamond 4 and stopped playing ranked entirely. As soon as I hit Diamond, I said nope, and just immediately went to Power Shift and playing the other game modes because it's just not fun to play. I don't know why anyone is trying to grind out ranked past Diamond because it's terrible. Having every game be a double heavy fest is the worst. It's just the worst. Maybe if heavy didn't have mesh shield and dome shield, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. Maybe, but even then, the barricades, like, man, when you have a team doing all the barricades, all the shielding, dude, it's terrible. I think the finals needs to take a page from Overwatch 2's book and just get away from shielding in general. You really need to limit it. The amount of shielding that can come from two heavies is just crazy, and it's not fun shooting shields, and it's really not fun shooting endless shields while your cash out is being stolen after you wipe two teams. It's just not fun. So maybe they'll just get away from that mechanic entirely and just retune the heavy around not having them. I think most people would prefer that. Another problem with Cash Out is that it's just not a great game mode for solo play. The vast majority of people play ranked solo, and Cash Out is just a game that requires a lot of coordination and a lot of team comp synergy. It matters if you have 2 lights and a medium versus 2 heavies and a medium. It matters if you have a guy playing dome shield and mesh shield, or you have a light with a dagger. Like, it really, really matters. Those choices really matter. And when you play in a full party, your experience is going to be much better. Now, I did play solo all the way up to Diamond. It is possible. And I will say that the player base overall is, they're pretty decent in terms of playing coordinated with just the ping system. It's not the worst. But, man, you will get games where you're just like, what in the world is this guy doing? And I think that if you had other game modes like Domination and Hardpoint and Headquarters and just other, Power Shift, like there's not this issue with Power Shift. So it's another mark against why Cash Out is bad. And it's not like Cash Out is good with a party, by the way. It's not like this game mode all of a sudden becomes magically not frustrating as fuck as soon as you get a party. No, it's still bad, but it's just less bad. With all that being said, I do think the Cash Out game mode could still be the flagship game mode with 2 changes. First change being you need to accrue cash while you hold the objective and then get a big bonus at the end for fully capturing it. I like the steal mechanic. I think most people do. I just don't think they want it to be an all or none scenario where all that matters is the very last second. I think that is just frustrating. It is way more frustrating than it is fun when you get a steal. I think most people can probably agree with that at this point now that the game is a little bit matured. Maybe at first it was super exciting, but man, it is not. Once you get like 20 hours in the game, that shit wears off immediately. And the next thing I like to see changed is have kills and opening boxes and have there be more ways to get meaningful amounts of cash. Right now, all that matters is who captures 2 vaults. If you capture 2 vaults, you win. If you capture the vault at the very end, you usually win. That's all it is. It's very repetitive because there's only one way to win. However, if kills were worth more and you got to accrue cash for holding the objective, all of a sudden it would open up. You'd be able to win in more ways. Imagine for a second that you could win a game by capturing the first box and then just fragging out. And you could actually win that way because you could get a meaningful amount of cash for getting kills. Heck, some of you guys might have played ranked and not even known that you got cash for getting kills and opening boxes and doing steals. You get money for that, but it's so little that it doesn't matter. And very, very, very rarely, I think I've had one game come down to, wow, that team got more kills and they beat us by $100. That never happens. Never. But I would love to see a situation where you could win a game by holding 90% of the box, opening a few cash outs, and then fragging out, and you can qualify that way. I would love to see you be able to win in more ways than just capturing 2 boxes or capturing the last box. And I think it would open up the sandbox in a much more healthy way, because right now all that matters is the very last second and third partying. Therefore, you have double heavy medium, and that's the only way to play. Now, maybe if the rules changed and you could get meaningful amounts of cash for doing other objectives and getting kills and opening boxes and all those other things and getting team wipes, maybe you get like $5,000 for a team wipe and you get, $3,000 to kill. I don't know. They have the data. They could tune the numbers. I'm confident they have enough data. They could probably figure this out. But all of a sudden, it wouldn't just matter who is best at fighting at a cash box where there's 10,000, fires and explosions and walls coming down. Then maybe you could have something like a dagger specialist. There are people that are good with the dagger, but I don't want them on my team, not in this current environment. Right now, somebody with a dagger is useless. But if they could play a role where they're just third partying, getting kills, rezzing, reviving, getting cash outs, and they could do things that were useful beyond just cash out stealing, yeah, maybe it would be, maybe you'd see light being a bit more viable if everything wasn't just a clusterfuck at the end. So yeah, that's the core problem. Cash out is bad. It gets very repetitive. It gets very old very quickly, especially when you're just getting bullshitted all day. And when you're the one doing the bullshitting, it's not really that fun either. So I would love to see them change the game mode pretty dramatically and change the cash values for things, or maybe just trying a different ranked game mode entirely. Have Power Shift be the flagship game mode this season. I'd love to see ranked Power Shift. I think people are enjoying. I'd love to see the data, but I bet more people are playing Power Shift than Quick Cash. I wouldn't be surprised. I think a lot of people are really enjoying it. The terminal game mode I thought was okay. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a big like Counter-Strike S&D type player, but I would love to see just something different other than cash out. Now let's talk about some other things. The class balance in the game is just not great. The light class is a little bit problematic because it's great in uncoordinated solo environments, like you're going to see later in this video, where I am just fragging out on light. I really enjoy playing the light class, but again, in ranked and cash out, again, everything's coming back to cash out. Weird. It's not good. I don't want to have a light player on my team in Diamond. I just don't. He might be great. He might be an amazing light player. But guess what? I'd rather have those FPS skills on a fucking heavy. I'd rather have his insane movement and his insane aim on a slow as fuck heavy with a Lewis gun, throwing down dome shields and throwing up mesh shields. Because the game mode is garbage. Maybe the classes are super balanced if it was a power shift environment. Again, I would love to see ranked power shift, but currently in the quick cash out meta, light is bad, heavy is good, way too good. Medium is, I guess, pretty balanced. It's right there in the middle. Medium, I guess they nailed that. But the class balance is not great, and again, it becomes very repetitive when you are just playing the meta. It's hard to say if light should be buffed or if cash out should be changed, but there are definitely some things that need to get buffed and need to get nerfed. The weapons, I will say, were pretty poorly balanced for a very long time. You had like the reign of the FCAR up until like last week, where they finally gave it a meaningful nerf. But I will say, up until like the last few weeks, they did a balance patch, and it was pretty good. There are a lot of pretty viable weapons. I just started using the FAMAS again. It's pretty good, honestly. Pretty fun gun. Now that they brought down the FCAR, the heavy guns are a lot more viable now, a lot more different options. You're starting to see the M60 now. But for the longest time, the guns were very poorly balanced. And I think most people probably haven't played since then, haven't played since the nuke era. But I will say that the core gunplay has gotten much better. There are still some outliers, like the
93R.
Who in the fuck is involved with the tuning of that? How is that gun that bad? It's terrible damage, terrible range, 3-round burst, so it requires more aim than another gun. It's just the worst at everything. It's bizarre. It's bizarre how bad the 93R is. So, yeah, not great in terms of balance. But again, it kind of comes back to the game mode. Would the classes be balanced if Cash Out wasn't the flagship game mode? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe in Power Shift, the classes are balanced. They so far, when I've been playing Power Shift, yes, it's been, solo, unranked games. Yes, that's more chaotic, and yes, light does do better in that kind of game mode. But I would wager that the classes are probably pretty balanced when it comes to Power Shift in a ranked environment. I don't know. Maybe that's a hot take, but I'd like to see it. Season 3, let's see ranked Power Shift. Do it. The next thing I'd like to see is a secondary infinite progression track. Right now, you have the Battle Pass, and I will say this recent Battle Pass with 108 tiers is a pretty good little grind, which I think is necessary because people like having something to work towards. And what I think they need to do is have some sort of like infinite leveling system where you can get these very, very minor rewards. Honestly, it can be so minor and people will grind for it. They just want a bar to fill. But have there be an infinite leveling system of some kind where you just get like icon, like player icon, like something easy, like something like Overwatch 1 did with the player portraits. People will grind that out. It'll give them a reason to keep playing. Right now with the Battle Pass, you have a lot of people that complete the Battle Pass and just quit. But I bet you a certain percentage of them would not quit if there was like some little extra doodads they could work towards that are really not that hard to make, but would keep people playing the game. Even if nothing changes with the finals in Season 3, I still really like the game, and I'm sure they're going to come out with some cool new weapons and cool new maps for Season 3. But I would genuinely like to see them add a new flagship ranked game mode. I'd like to see them change it up from Cash Out, because it's just fucking old, man. It's old and repetitive, and maybe they'll have some rule changes. That'd be great, but if it stays the same, then I'll do what I did this season and hit Diamond and never touch it again, because I don't like it. I just don't like it. And I think most people don't like it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you still playing the finals? Are you going to check it out in Season 3? Most of you probably aren't playing the finals, but I'd wager a lot of you do like the game. I bet a lot of you are wanting to come back, but you just want one of these pet issues fixed that I talked about. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and join the Discord. It's free.